Hello guys, my name is Marco, and on this video what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how I did this particular painting I did. Now here's the thing, the things I use for this painting are really cheap. They really are. That's one of the things that I decided to do. Why? Because I don't have that much money, and also painting something, it's really expensive, like canvas and stuff like that. It's really expensive. And also, just because you know, this is my first time actually doing the painting, and I think I did pretty damn good. And I suck at explaining things, so if it wasn't that great, I'm sorry. So there's that. So I'm gonna show you guys this. So this is what I did. I did a Wonder Woman painting. I used a poster board because it was cheap, and that's the only thing I had at my disposal. So there's that. I will put a better photo that I took right here if the lighting doesn't pick it up that great. The way I came about on doing this, the first thing is that I went online and I searched a lot of different photos of Wonder Woman and kind of like got all of them together, pushed them all together, and basically created this one picture. Now here's the thing, I'm not like really good at drawing or really good at painting or anything like that. This is my first ever painting I try to do, so I try to go with more like a pop art style because I can get away with certain things. Okay, so the first thing I did is I went online and searched for many different photos and pictures of Wonder Woman. Then I got all of those photos and pictures and I made this one Wonder Woman sketch. Now here's the thing, I did not draw me doing the sketch because it literally took me like an hour and a half or something like that. So I decided I wasn't gonna film that, but this is a video about me painting it, not so much about sketching. I will make a video like that later on, so there's that. Okay, so then after that I got done doing the whole sketch thing. I did redefine it a little bit so I make it look good. I got a permanent marker, which is your standard Sharpie. I traced the whole entire sketch with that Sharpie. And then after that, I sort of like pick which sections I was going to paint first. So the one that I started painting first was the corset, the armor, the chest plate. That's one of the things that I choose. Now the paint that I got was this red. Now you don't need to get this type of particular red, you just need the color red. I just got this because that's the only thing that was available in my store where I went. So that's the red that I used. Now the brush that I used was this angular brush, which is a really big white brush because the corset is a big piece, so I wanted to paint the whole thing with that without using a smaller brush. So I painted the whole thing red. Then after that, I traced it again with the Sharpie with an outline because I still wanted to see the whole entire thing because I was gonna give it a second coat, and so I traced the whole thing with a Sharpie and then I gave it a second coat. Then after that, I use this red, which is a more darker red. Now you don't have to get this particular type of red, like I said. It just needs to be a dark red. Then what I did is that I wanted to give the corset, to give it more little dimension, stuff like that. This is something that you don't really have to do. It's just preference, and also a lot of like pop art art out there does not have this. This is just personal preference. So I used the angular brush, and I just basically I started out with the piece where her belly button and her abs are, and I just swooshed it in, just like swoosh like that, trying to sort of blend it in with the yellow, kind of create like a dimension or shadow tone. I did that with this side. Also, I did it with her chest, her breasts, and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's what I did with the corset piece. Then after that, I moved out. Then I moved to like the shorts or the skirt or whatever, because I don't know, because in the movie it looks like it's a skirt, but then in the comics it's not a skirt, it's actually shorts or a underwear or whatever, you know, a bikini, I guess. I don't know. There's just many different versions of Wonder Woman. So I started out with, I'm just gonna say skirt, okay? I started out with a skirt. So one of the things that I've used to do the whole thing with skirt, I painted it with a blue. Now, you know, like I said, you don't have to get this particular type of blue. This was the only thing that was available, okay? So I got this particular type, a blue, and I use an angular brush. Now, when it comes to an angular brush, I recommend going, painting it with strokes the way that the skirt is supposed to go, like wave and stuff like that. That's one of the things that I did. After I got done painting with that, I decided to give it dimension, give it shadow and stuff like that, because the corset and the corset chest plate thing, that one is made of like it's a metallic part or something like that, but the skirt or whatever shorts, whatever you want to call it, is actually made out of leather. So that one's going to be different. I don't really give it that much of a shine. So well, actually, I didn't try to give it shine, but whatever. Then I give it shadow, so I used this particular type of dark blue. And like I said, you don't need, and I did the same thing as I did with the red. I give it like a little swoosh thing, and you don't have to do this, so there's that. Plus, the blue that I used was really bright, so if you're gonna go with the much brighter colors, make sure all of the colors that you are also bright so it can look good. Because if you have one color that's like a dark color, it's only that one particular bright color will pop out. So, so there's that, and there's where I got done with the corset piece and the skirt / shorts or whatever you want to call it, okay? So there's that. Then after that, I moved, then once I got done with those things, I actually traced it again with a Sharpie, like I said, because I wanted to see it. Now on the skirt part, I did not do a second coat because I just didn't want to. I'm feeling a little bit lazy, but there's that. Then after that, I moved up with the hair. Now on the hair part, I started drawing a little bit of shine. What I mean by that is that I started just like in certain areas, because in pop art, you know, what they have is like these areas that kind of like look like they stick out. They're like wide or something like that. It's hard to explain it, but what I did is I grabbed the pencil and I just started drawing stuff like that. Now, just to let you know, this wasn't any particular order. This was just me just randomly drawing and sketching certain areas. So that's what I did, and after that, I painted with just a blue color with this brush called a liner brush. It's like this brush that is like not too big but not too small, and it's great for that. So that's what I started doing. Now, in order to get really small defined details, I use this one called a spotter. So I use that. And then after that, what I did is that I took a photo of basically the portrait or her hair, because there are some black outlines that I did that I don't want those to be black. I want those to be white. But since I'm gonna paint the hair black, those I needed to see where it was. So I took a photo of it, And once I took a photo of it, I used a Sharpie and kind of like color in where those bluish shine parts that I made of the hair. Kind of like did an outline thing, so when I paint it, it could be much more easier. And stuff, so I did that part. Now after I got done doing that part with the Sharpie, I painted the whole thing. I painted some parts, I painted with the angular brush, and some parts with the liner, and then the other parts with the spotter with those smaller details and stuff. I painted all black. Then after that, once I painted the whole thing black, I used this thing called a white jelly roll, which is an A08. And basically this is like a pen thing that comes out like a white little ink, which is great and amazing when it comes to painting, when it comes to drawing or something like that in black, you know, solid things. So then what I did is that I looked back at the photo that I just took and kind of look at the lines, the black lines from the outline that I had, and it kind of like traced those, but with the white, with the jelly roll, and kind of like did the whole outlines and stuff like that, which I think it came out looking pretty good. So now I got done with the hair. The hair is looking kind of cool and stuff like that. Then I moved up with her skin color. Now the color I use is called a sun-kissed peach. It's a great color. It's like the color peach, but much more lighter, and I really do like it. So I started out with the more sensitive skin. There's a lot of skin on this. So what I use is I use the angular brush, which is a much bigger brush. I use that. But then after that, once I get done painting the whole thing with that brush, I got the liner brush and I kind of painted a little bit of details like the hair and certain areas that I couldn't be able to do it because I needed a small brush. So that's what I did. Then once I got painted that, got dried and everything like that, I grabbed myself a permanent marker, a really small one, which was this one. It's called a Graphic, I think it's called a Graphic 01 or something like that. I don't know. So I grabbed that and then I started tracing the nose, the lips, and then the eyebrows and the eyes. And the eyes, I kind of added some eyelashes here and there. And that's what I did. And now I'm gonna move up to the eyes. Now the eyes, what I did is that in the pupil, I painted the whole thing black, like a black circle around it. And then once I painted it black, I grabbed a blue, which is the light blue that I have, or whatever, the regular blue. And then I did another circle around it, which is much more, little bit slightly smaller than the black. Then I got black again once that all got dry and made another small circle, but much more deeper, smaller, so it could look like the pupil. And then after that, once that got dried, I got myself the liner brush, which I used it for the black and blue and all that stuff on the not the liner, the spotter brush. And what I did with the spotter brush, I actually ended up getting white. Now you can use the jelly roll. I just decided to use the spotter brush because I had it right there. So I used it, and then one side of the pupil, I just did a small little dab of white, and the other side I made a little more bigger, and I did the same thing with both eyes, you know. So there was two lines, one small one and one big one. Then I got the black, and the black kind of did this gradient thing, so it can look like it was fading into blue. So that's one of the things. That's how I got done with the eyes. Now we're gonna come down with the lips. Now the lips, I just painted it red. And then with the jelly roll, I kind of like, with the white jelly roll, I kind of like did squiggle lines, small squiggle lines. Since the face is actually facing this way, or maybe this way, I don't know. Like, I know where it's facing, but I'm like, I don't know how the camera picks it up, which way it's facing. So it's like, I don't know. So what I did is that, in the part that, you know, where it's facing, let's just facing this way, I did this part much more longer, and this part shorter. And then the lips, kind of like that. I didn't so much film it. I just trying to explain it because I'm bad at explaining stuff. So that's what I did. And then after that, once I got that part done, then I started out with the pieces like her headband and her belt and part of her chest plate and stuff like that. I painted that golden, I can't remember, but there is this clip that I put out that you guys can see the color. So there's that. That's the color I painted. So it kind of looks like a yellow with the mustard or something like that. So I painted it, the headband with that color, the top piece of the chest plate, and her belt. And that was that. And after that, I used a permanent marker to do the outline again, because that's what I did. So yeah, so there's that. And after that, I started the arms right here, and the way that I painted those arms is that I painted with the light gray. Now I had to mix white with black in order to get that gray, but I recommend getting gray because it makes it a lot better. And then like I said, I do the outline. So what I did is that when it comes to this painting, there's the sketch, there's the outline, there's the paint, there's the outline again, you know, with the Sharpie. Then there's the paint again, and there's the outline again, and stuff like that. That's what I decided to do, because so I can see the outline, so when I paint, I can know what I'm doing. And at the end, I just did decided to do another outline on top of it. You know, just outline the whole entire thing. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can use this product called Mod Podge. And Mod Podge, what it is like a sealer thing. When you use it, you put it on your painting, and then it will look like glue, but once it gets dry, it will be clear, and nothing bad will happen to your paint, to your artwork. It was just gonna stay like that. That is one thing that I would recommend doing. I didn't do that because I don't know, because there's still stuff that I wanted to do, because I think it came out pretty good. You know, I like it. There's that one thing that I would recommend is using a sponge brush. You can use a regular paintbrush, but if you use a regular paintbrush, you're gonna get like paint strokes, so there's that. But if you use a sponge brush, you're not gonna get those brush strokes, which it looks a little bit nicer, a little bit better. So there's that. And like I said, this is my first time doing this painting, so hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you guys liked, that's great. If you guys didn't, if you're one of those people that say, "Oh, I've seen better," Well, guess what? Me too. I've seen better. But this is like my first time, and I just decided to make a video, document it. So yeah. So I hope you guys like this video. Have a wonderful day. I'm be making more videos. So bye. Stay tuned for that.